Hi everyone, and welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, and this is episode 308. I'm Carol, also known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada. I hope you're all doing well and that you've had a good week or so since we last spoke. And if you celebrated Easter or Passover, I hope you had a good holiday. I had not expected to be back here again with you quite so soon. I have very little knitting to show you, but I do have a very big giftaway to announce, and I wanted to do it in a timely manner. So thank you very much for joining me today, and thanks to everyone who reached out with your kind comments and good wishes after last episode. Before I do show you what I've been working on this week, just a reminder that the Stash Spectacular Make-Along is taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. It is a very casual year-long chatter thread where you can show what you are making from your yarn, pattern, and fiber stash. So hope to see you there. Okay, first up is the Auroras at Night shawl by Lori Law of Ocean Wind Knits. Looks something like that. It's called a shawl. To me, it's more like a shallow triangular scarf. Another look at the pattern. And I came across this pattern while I was packing to move about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and I thought it would be perfect for my sister Jacqueline because she and her husband took a trip to Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories last year, specifically to see the Northern Lights. And when I had purchased the pattern, I had also purchased the yarn that it was originally knit from. It's the sock base from Ocean Wind Knits in the Northwest Territories colorway. So when I started it, I had high hopes that it would be done with no problem by the end of April, which is when her birthday is. But then moving kind of got in the way, plus I did rip back quite a bit in order to alter how I was doing the edging for the lace sections. And so it's taken me a little bit longer than I expected. But I do think I should be able to finish it in time to block it and wrap it up and send it with my sister, who is going to be back east soon, and she can give it to her. So last episode I was somewhere around here. I had done all the increasing. You start out here with this stripy section of stockinette and reverse stockinette, and then you increase at regular intervals till you get to the point where you decrease. And so that's what I've done since then. I've just begun another stripy section, then there's one more lace section, and then there's the final stripy section. So you see what I mean? It's fairly long, but it's not that deep. So it'll be a great one for, wrapping around like this. Of course, I'm giving it to her right at the end of winter, so she probably won't use it much this season. There you can see that lace pattern meant to bring to mind, I'm assuming, the movement of the Northern Lights or the Aurora Borealis. So yes, getting there. I had to laugh because last episode I went to great pains to turn the shawl into what I thought was the right way up. I assumed that the straight edge of the knitting, where you don't do any increasing or decreasing, was going to be the top of the shawl. But it actually turns out that the straight edge is the bottom here, and the edge where you do all the increasing is the top. And then you can see that all that section of decreasing there. So it is an asymmetrical triangle, and you decrease at a faster rate on this part than you increase on this side. So I am nearing the end. I'm working on it whenever I can. I did finish the lace section this morning. We were away for a few days and I left it at home, so I'm trying to make up for lost time. But I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay. Second and last project. Oh, sorry, spotted the tag here. I want to tuck it in its bag so I don't lose it. Second project is the Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague. I am knitting it from a happenstance one-of-a-kind sock blank from Fibernymph Dye Works. You can see this sock blank is much smaller than when I showed it to you last episode, and that's because I'm not that far away from doing the decrease section. So for those of you who are looking at this and are going, that's a very strange looking hat, I'm going to assume you're not familiar with the Musselburgh hat because it's everywhere. I assume, I think everybody's heard of it, but maybe not. So it is like a double-sided hat. You cast on and you begin with the crown increases, and then you knit straight until the specified length, and then you do the crown decreases. And when your project's finished, you take one end, you stuff it inside the other, and you end up with a hat that's 2 layers thick. And then if you fold up the brim, you have 4 layers around your ears, which will keep them very warm. So this is my first time knitting it, but I can see why it is such a popular pattern, because it's very, it's a great project for just knit, knit, knit when you want a travel project or when you're watching TV or visiting with people. You don't have to think very much unless you're working on the increase or decrease sections. Oh, and I've got my maple leaf stitch marker there. Feeling kind of patriotic at the moment with everything going on in the world, and we have a upcoming election next Monday. My husband and I actually voted in the advance poll yesterday morning, and we have set a record for advance poll voters this time around. It seems like rather consequential election, and a lot of people are engaged. So that's good to see that people are exercising their right to vote. I always remind people that women especially had to fight really hard to get that right, and we should exercise it whenever we have the opportunity. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Anyway, this is getting pretty close, I think within a couple inches to when it's time to decrease. And I look forward to showing this to you when it's done. So that's all the knitting I've managed to accomplish in the last 6 days, and I'll just briefly catch you up on what else has been going on before I announce the giftaway. So as mentioned, my husband and I were away for a few days. We went to Victoria on Vancouver Island to celebrate his mom's 100th birthday. So she was officially 100 on Sunday, Easter Sunday, but we had a party for her on the Saturday, which was attended by mainly family and a couple of friends. So all of our kids were there, plus 2 out of 3 of our grandchildren, and it was really nice to be together over the holiday weekend. We were allowed to use what's called the Oak Room in her residence. It's a beautiful room with stained glass windows where they hold church services and other kind of group activities. So it was a really nice setting for the celebration. We got her a sash that said 100 and fabulous, and came with a little sparkly tiara, which we put on her and let her be queen for the day. The party went very well, and it was just nice to all be together. So on the way home, we got a text from our granddaughter who had stayed home, and she was feeling kind of lonely and left out, and her dad suggested that she get hold of us and see if we could do something together for dinner. And so we had her over here. I made mac and cheese, which is a family favorite, and got some fixings for strawberry shortcake. So we had a little bit of a Easter dinner together. So that was a nice way to end the weekend. And then yesterday, Cameron took the day off so we could go into the adjoining city to have my car looked at. It's had some weird things going on with it. In particular, it will have one of the things that happens is the radio will just randomly turn on, even when there's no one in the car, even when the key fob is not present, and it drains the battery. So then when I go to drive somewhere, car's dead, and I either have to recharge the battery or we've had to replace it in a couple of instances. So they did do a recall, replace something because of a recall. They did a software update, and I'm waiting for another part to do another recall issue. And between all of that, knock wood, should take care of the problems. Let's hope so. Unfortunately, it means another trip in to do that, but if that'll solve the problem, then it's worth it. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. My something good for this episode is the big giftaway that I have alluded to. After we returned home from our weekend away, I was very pleasantly surprised to find a note from Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade in my Ravelry inbox. And she very kindly offered the opportunity for me to collaborate with her on her latest Handmade Sock Society collection. Not only did she offer me a coupon code for all 6 patterns from the Handmade Sock Society 6, she also gave me 5 additional coupon codes that I could give out in any way I liked. And so I am going to share them with you. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the Handmade Sock Society and the Handmade Sock Society 6 in particular. So Helen Stewart describes the Handmade Sock Society as a mystery pattern collection for knitters who cherish handmade socks and delightful surprises. She, in the upcoming 6 months, will release 6 secret sock patterns and also host a knit-along on Ravelry for the Sock Society members. So this season is inspired by the dreamy aesthetics of light academia, a cozy atmosphere of sunlit libraries, antique writing desks, and snug reading nooks. Does sound cozy, doesn't it? It's dedicated to the secret worlds inside our journals, our favorite stories, our sketchbooks, and our daydreams. So the first pattern in the Handmade Sock Society 6 will be released on Thursday, May 1st. And until that date, you can get a special early bird price of £10.75. And after that, the price for the collection will rise to £18. The early bird price is a savings of over 40%. Now, I'm not sure what it is in US dollars, but when I was looking, the £10.75 was around $20 Canadian. So that's a amazing price for 6 sock patterns. The collection is available on both Ravelry and Gumroad, and I will leave a link below in the show notes for both places. So if you need to access the show notes, if you're on YouTube, just look where it says more. It's just under the video. Click on that, and it opens up the window or expands the area, and all the show notes will be in there. I will also include links for Helen Stewart's Instagram, YouTube, her blog, Ravelry, and also she has a free beginner sock knitting pattern and workshop that you can try out if you want to hone your skills before knitting the first pattern from the collection. So when you sign up for it in the pre-sale period, you'll receive a link to an information sheet like this. And then after that, as each pattern is released, it is added to your Ravelry library. So on this information sheet, she has the dates for each of the pattern releases, beginning again Thursday, May 1st. The last one is released on October 2nd, and the others are every month after May 1st. So June 5th, July 3rd, August 7th, and September 4th. Let me see what else. You can also, if you like, join the Curious Handmade Ravelry group. There is a make-along going on there for each of the sock patterns. And then you can also join in the fun on Instagram and use the couple of different hashtags to tag your projects. And if you're not already on Helen Stewart's mailing list, that's a great way to keep up to date with all of her latest pattern releases, both socks, shawls, and otherwise. So I have participated in all 5 of the previous Handmade Sock Society collections and knit-alongs. I have knit every single sock except the last release from the last collection. I do have the yarn set aside for it. I just never got around to knitting it. So I'm gonna have to do that one day. But I thought it might be interesting and informative for some of you who haven't, are not familiar with the Handmade Sock Society, to tell you a little bit about each of them, the ones that have happened so far, and show you one sock from each of those collections. Then you'll have an idea of what to expect. So the first season was botanically inspired, and this is one of my favorite patterns from the collection. It's the Red Robin socks. So you can see a very simple yet effective stitch pattern, and this is very typical of Helen Stewart patterns in general. They are not difficult, but they're just complex enough to keep you interested. I think 1x1 twisted rib is her favorite cuff. You will see that appear in many of her sock designs. It's not my favorite one to knit, but I do like the way it looks. And her socks, I think, are always top down. And as stated, all of the socks in the newest collection will be figuring weight or 4-ply. So the second season was inspired by the Cornish coastline, and Helen took us on a little holiday on the Cornish coast, beginning in a shell cottage. So these are the shell cottage socks. Again, you see the 1x1 twisted rib cuff and another simple but really effective stitch pattern. The third season was inspired by the many meanings of atmosphere and the creative quest. And these are the altitude socks. Again, 1x1 twisted rib cuff, and then just a very simple design at the top, which leaves you lots of just easy knitting to complete the sock. But very effective when it's all together. Season 4 celebrated life lived close to the landscape. And this is the Wild Bees socks. Well, one sock. The other one is over there on a table. Again, that 1x1 twisted rib, and then a really pretty bee-inspired lace pattern on the front. And then just a plain stockinette back. And finally, the fifth collection was an exploration of natural wonders and a celebration of our natural curiosity. It was inspired by curiosity cabinets, and these are the paper wings socks. So we have a departure from the cuff from the others, 2x2, and then these little butterfly or moth motifs, and again, just a plain foot. Simple, yet interesting and effective. So that gives you an idea of what you might expect from the latest collection. And if you'd like to see more, the winter before last, I did a special series called Sock Season. And the first 4 episodes of Sock Season featured the first 4 seasons of the Handmade Sock Society. So I'll also leave links to those in the show notes. Okay, so how can you win one of these coupon codes? It is now 3 hours later, so you may notice a difference in the light. I goofed up this section of the podcast, and so I'm re-recording it, but I have to do it fast. A, because the light is fading, the sun's about to go down, and B, I've banished my poor husband to the patio. He's out there wrapped up in a blanket reading and kind of cold, and so I'm going to be quick as I can. There are 2 ways that you're able to win a Ravelry coupon code for the Handmade Sock Society 6. The first way is by being a participant in the Stash Spectacular Make-Along. I have used random number generator to draw 2 posts from all of the posts that are current up till today. So with the numbers 2 through 347, random number generator has chosen post 274, that's LMECOLL, who is Linda, and post 306, which belongs to DMB714, who is Donna. So Linda and Donna, you have each won a coupon code to use towards the Handmade Sock Society 6. So I'm going to give you a couple of days to maybe see this on the podcast, and if I haven't heard from you by then, I'll contact you via private message on Ravelry. But if you see this first, then please contact me via private message on Ravelry, and I will give you your coupon code. So congratulations to the 2 of you. That gives me 3 more coupon codes to give away. So if you're interested in winning a copy of the Handmade Sock Society 6 for yourself, please visit the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. There will be a post entitled episode 308, and just go in there and answer this prompt. What is your favorite design from the previous Handmade Sock Society collections? And in about a week's time, I will draw 3 winners from that thread and contact you via private message on Ravelry. So look for a message by next Tuesday, April 29th. That will give the winners enough time to receive their coupon codes and download the information sheet before the collection releases on May 1st. And it's also a chance, if you are not one of the lucky winners, to still access the early bird price for the collection. So good luck, and I would like to thank Helen Stewart very much for this opportunity, not only for myself, but also for 5 of you. I cannot recommend her patterns enough. So So thanks so much for watching. Have a great week, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.